Imagine this. You are floating, weightless, in the cupola of the International Space Station. All is silent. Below you, Earth rotates in slow, magnificent majesty, no borders, no sound, no chaos. Just shimmering blues, glowing cities at night, and the thinnest veil of atmosphere, like a breath between life and the endless void. This is the view that has transformed everyone who's seen it from above. The late Apollo astronaut Edgar Mitchell described it as an instant shift. You develop an instant global consciousness, a people orientation, an intense dissatisfaction with the state of the world. It's not a poetic exaggeration. This phenomenon, what we now call the overview effect, is real, measurable, and life-altering. It begins the moment astronauts see Earth not as a collection of countries, but as one fragile, vibrant organism floating alone in space. But how did this start? The shift began not with scientists or philosophers, but with a few men strapped inside capsules hurtling through space. In 1961, Yuri Gagarin peered out the window of Vostok 1 and said simply, "I see Earth. It is beautiful." When the Apollo 8 crew orbited the Moon in 1968 and captured the legendary Earthrise photo, the world below collectively gasped. Here was our planet tiny, glowing, and alone in the blackness. Those first images and experiences sparked something deeply human. Astronauts returned changed. Some became environmentalists. Others struggled to find words for what they'd seen. They spoke of unity, of awe, of a deep sadness that people down below could not see what they saw. In 1987, space philosopher Frank White tried to make sense of it all. He interviewed dozens of astronauts, and in their testimonies he found a common thread. When you see Earth from orbit, something shifts. You no longer identify with a nation or a tribe. You feel connected to all of it: oceans, deserts, clouds, people, animals. White called it the overview effect, likening it to a sudden spiritual awakening, a planetary epiphany. But this was not just anecdotal. Modern neuroscience is now catching up with what astronauts were trying to say. Seeing Earth from space, experiencing that overview, activates areas of the brain associated with awe, empathy, and self-transcendence. It also physically alters perception. Time, for instance, does not flow the same. A 2023 study in Nature found that astronauts perceived time speeding up in orbit. What felt like a minute on Earth passed in just 48 seconds up there. Their internal clocks ticked faster, likely a result of environmental and neurological recalibration. And it does not stop there. The space environment reshapes the human body in strange, almost poetic ways. When astronauts like Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore returned to Earth in March 2025 after nearly 300 days in orbit, they weren't the same. Their bones had thinned, muscles weakened. Their sense of balance was compromised. The soles of their feet were soft and new, like a baby's calluses erased by months of floating. Their eyeballs, literally, had flattened, a phenomenon known as spaceflight-associated neuroocular syndrome, caused by fluid pressure shifting toward the head in zero gravity. Emotionally, though, they were stronger. They spoke not of discomfort, but of transformation. Williams described watching lightning storms from orbit, seeing entire continents sleeping beneath her, and feeling a wave of love and fear all at once. Frank Rubio, who spent over a year in space, said the hardest part was not floating or sleeping in zero, but missing the simple sensory experiences of Earth, the smell of rain, the texture of a breeze, the crunch of leaves underfoot. When he returned, he stood barefoot on grass and cried. And it turns out, this emotional surge is not just spiritual fluff, it's scientific. Studies from the last 5 years, including those published in psychology journals and tracked by NASA, show that astronauts returning from long missions consistently score higher in empathy, environmental consciousness, and appreciation for diversity. Something up there softens the heart and sharpens the vision. The view is not just beautiful, it's useful. Earth's surface is under constant surveillance from the International Space Station. Instruments monitor climate patterns, deforestation, ocean currents, wildfires, and storms. This data, relayed in real time, supports disaster response teams and climate scientists back home. The station becomes a floating eye of Earth, not just watching, but understanding. At the same time, experiments on the ISS push boundaries in materials science, medicine, and agriculture. Crystals grow more perfectly in microgravity, revealing secrets about proteins and pharmaceuticals. Lettuce grown in orbit informs sustainable food systems for long-term missions and for arid regions back on Earth. Even coffee behaves differently, clumping in bizarre shapes that teach us about fluid dynamics. In the silence of space, humanity is solving Earthbound problems. And now, in 2025, the overview is not just for astronauts anymore. Companies like Space VR are bringing the experience to ordinary people through immersive virtual reality. Users can slip on a headset and orbit Earth in 360 degrees, feel the stillness, see the light flickering off the Atlantic Ocean, the green pulse of the Amazon rainforest. Studies show that just a few minutes of such exposure can reduce stress, improve focus, and spark feelings of environmental responsibility. It seems the overview effect can be simulated and its benefits shared. The future promises even more. SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic are all planning to bring civilians into orbit. As private missions increase, more people will witness that transformative view firsthand. And the question isn't just, what will they feel? It's, what will they do when they come back? Will a generation of space tourists return with the same reverence, the same urgency to protect the Earth, the same shift in identity from individual to planetary? We may soon find out. And beyond that, Mars awaits. Missions to the Red Planet will stretch human endurance, psychology, and spirit in ways we'd never tested. Long voyages, isolation, time delays in communication each will challenge not just the body, but the mind. Already, space agencies are developing advanced psychological support systems, artificial companionship, and immersive VR to maintain astronaut well-being during these deep space odysseys. But nothing, they say, will match the feeling of seeing Earth from afar and then not seeing it at all. What will it do to a person to watch their home shrink into a pale blue dot, then disappear completely? Back here on Earth, some are trying to bring that perspective to classrooms and communities. Earthrise installations rooms with panoramic VR views of space are being used in schools, hospitals, and even prisons. They're not just novelties. They are tools for mental health, emotional regulation, and environmental empathy. It turns out, awe might be therapeutic. And maybe that's the whole point. That fragile blue ball we live on is beautiful, yes, but also temporary. Seeing it from above reminds us of its uniqueness, its vulnerability, and our responsibility to protect it. It forces us to zoom out, literally and metaphorically, and ask bigger questions. Who are we? What are we doing? What do we owe each other? And then, suddenly, we are back where we began. In a spacecraft, gliding silently over Earth, watching clouds swirl like living art, watching the dark curve of ocean kiss the first hints of dawn. It's a view few have seen, but all of us can feel. As the screen fades to black, a faint heartbeat rises in the music, strings swell. The image lingers not of space, but of Earth itself, turning. And the voice returns, soft but resolute. This was just one view from orbit. Next time, we'll show you how gravity bends time, how space heals and hurts the human body, and what happens when you stare at the stars for too long. If you felt the awe, the wonder, the stillness, don't keep it to yourself. Leave a comment. What would you do if you saw Earth from space? Like this video if it made you pause, even for a second. And if you are curious about what space does to the human mind, body, and spirit, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell because the next episode takes us deeper. We're diving into gravity's secrets, astronaut dreams, and the mysteries of time itself. Until then, keep looking up.